The ministry of prayer and the word. Although in a limited way, since the business needs of the church was not as heavy as certain outpourings in history, the men of wisdom gave themselves continually to prayer and the ministry of the word. The book of Acts chapter 6 verse 4. The continuous consistent preaching of the word will have God's backing. It will break ill motives, selfishness, and self-seeking. God backs up his word. Though counseling may be good for those who may need it, the anointed word spoken from the prophet's lips does cause change of heart. Judgment is not reserved for the wicked only, but also for those of us upon whom responsibility has been placed. Preach the word. Timothy was told, that is 2 Timothy chapter 4 verse 2. It is the word that designs the heart's intents. That is the book of Hebrews chapter 4 verse 12. The word will either bring men closer to the minister or drive them away, but those that the word brings will be kept by the same. To be able to absorb shocks and setbacks, the man of God must spend much time with the Lord in prayer and the study of the word. There is no secret beside these two. Because the word is God's power, it may cause interruptions. The Lord declared that He came to bring a sword. During these days of stiff competition for prominence, the man that God will use must pay the price that the prophets and apostles paid. He must train himself to abstain from certain luxuries that may easily distract attention. This is not to say he must become poor, eat and dress badly, but excessive obsession for clothing, food and other related necessities may lead to leakage in the minister's mind. He must be willing to be judged by the standard of God, not by the outward impression that he gives. Though he must not betray his calling by the way he presents himself, including the outward looks. Nevertheless, he must be willing to deny himself the urge for self-attraction. I personally don't think that God is so concerned where we take our tea. However, to claim that all those ministers who frequent the Hilton or the Intercontinental for tea or meals are not spiritual is not right and not pleasing. A bishop told me that God had strictly ordered him not to enter these high-class restaurants. I did not see the reason to argue, as he claimed it was the Lord's orders to him. But the following week, he was eating there, and I actually found him doing the opposite of what he told me. Spirituality or an anointed ministry is not the result of where you eat or don't. Discipline is a complex matter. Self-denial of luxuries is not the only way to succeed, but it will help to discipline one's excessive appetites. If a minister is not rightly handling the word of truth, it is because he has no time for the word. If the word is not a consuming fire in his life, it is because the word is not number one in his ministry. Time is of essence. However, we give our time rules our lives. In search of administrative aptness in ministry, the word and prayer do take second place, but no other activities should be allowed to come above the one and prayer. The man of God must spend more time before God and less time in pursuit of material pleasure. His delight should be in the Lord. At the Lord's right hand are pleasures forevermore. The book of Psalm chapter 16 verse 11. This calls for a personal rehabilitation. We are so materialistic oriented, especially where the prosperity doctrine is prevalent. One rarely hears things such as consecration, personal devotion, or even just plain good manners. While prosperity is part of the gospel, it must never take possession of the man of God. He must live above the lust of the flesh. He will have all he needs, and God will be glorified in his life. He will prosper in material belongings, yet he will not be possessed by them, so much so that all his messages are prosperity. Such virtues as fasting must include other areas of life beyond food. Abstinence takes a man of courage and discipline. I used to think that loneliness was the most abnormal thing, so I kept myself busy gathering friends, but then I became angry to be with God alone. I found out that there was a pull between friends and the presence of God. I had to choose. I had to lose friends so that I could be at God's presence. It was costly, though, but it was worth it. Now, I enjoy being alone more than with friends. I am healthier spiritually and mentally.